Turning to the identity of the fourth student, we have no definitive ID on this person. Described as a tall teenage girl with dark black hair, estimated to be between the ages of 13 to 15, not much else can be ascertained from the quality of the security cameras. When consulting known cases, it was pointed out the stark resemblance between the girl in the video and known and long-standing missing person Thalia Grace. Online researchers were quick to point out the resemblance, claiming this to be the first sighting of the girl in a few years. However, this can be debunked with a little fact-checking. Missing person Thalia Grace, at the time of this article being written, would be around the age of 24-25, not a teenage girl. Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean 25? She's supposed to be 25, but she joined the Hunters of Artemis the day before her 16th birthday, partially to avoid the prophecy that she would have either accidentally fulfilled the next day or would have caused her death in the next 24 hours, considering that it was actually about Percy. And she's already cheated death once in a really weird way, so, why not? What? How was class? Boring. This seems much more interesting. How did you... Piper's been sending me updates. You're live tweeting me? Just Annabeth. And you told me I should test the tech. You have a cell phone? It's for emergencies. Is this an emergency? It's a crisis of information. They're accusing my boyfriend of being an accessory to crime. Like Ken. What? An accessory. My job is beach. I'm horse riding Barbie. I want to be architecture Barbie. How have we gotten this lost? Look at you and your pop culture! I love movies. You should know this by now. Wait. So she was already a Hunter of Artemis when they wound up at the school? Not yet, but she did lose a couple years as a tree, so that's why her age is off there. I'm gonna pretend like I understood that. Leo? As I was saying, for some background on this case, Thalia Grace is the daughter of 80s TV star Beryl Grace. While Thalia's father remains unknown, in the years after her daughter's birth, Beryl Grace became somewhat infamous for being unstable, consistently pulling stunts that led to endless bad press and her being blacklisted from Hollywood. Paparazzi kept her DUIs and other career-ending behavior well documented, meaning that by association, her young daughter Thalia was recognizable as well. Eventually, Beryl seemed to turn a corner and improve her image after being spotted with a new mystery man. It's assumed that this man is the father of her second child, a boy named Jason Grace. They were quiet for about 2 years before things took a turn for the worst. Jason Grace was reported missing by his older sister. This is the same excerpt from your dad's case, Piper. What? Thalia Grace informed the police that the 2-year-old Jason was missing at the hands of their mother. When questioned, the fallen-off movie star stated that the boy had been taken from her, but refused to disclose by who. When pressed as to why she did not report him missing, she was uncooperative and babbling nonsense. A manhunt was initiated due to suspicion that the child was in danger and had not been simply surrendered. Unfortunately, not a single lead was generated from this search, and the case would have no other revelations until 14 years later. See related articles. While police continued to search for Jason Grace, Beryl's older daughter, Thalia, also went missing. This time, Beryl claimed her daughter had said that, quote, "This was the last straw," and then subsequently ran away. Police searched for the 9-year-old following dozens of tips in the next few years of potential sightings as far as Richmond, Virginia, before the case went cold. Thalia was often said to be seen with a tall blonde teenage boy, estimated to be around the age of 13-14, often seen curiously carrying a golf club. Police have worked to identify the boy and have made tentative links between him and other missing person cases where he matches the description, but no definitive evidence has been found and remains as speculation. See related articles. Do you know who Luke is Stellan? You'd think he'd be more identifiable with that giant scar on his face. He didn't have that till after we got to camp. Oh. He went on this quest. There was a dragon involved. It was a whole thing. I remember being very jealous that he got a quest and I did not. But then he came back with that and I had to rethink my stance a little bit. That is really weird to think about. Why? I don't know. He was just the most chill dude before, questing and stuff. Really? He taught me how to sword fight. Oh. Yeah, he'd already stolen the Master Bolt and framed me for it before we even met, and then still had the audacity to be like, "Hey buddy, my name's Luke, let me teach you how to stab stuff." A bit of painful irony there. Painful. Okay. Sightings of Thalia diminished quickly, most likely due to the passage of time and the simple fact that 9-year-olds don't look like 9-year-olds forever. At the last definitive sighting of the girl, an eyewitness stated that a blonde boy referred to her as Thalia, and the unique name was what caught the witness's attention in the first place, considering the media circus around Beryl Grace. After this, the case would have no other revelations for years. However, this case has been linked to the incident at Westover Hall due to one last unverified sighting. A disheveled group of teens were spotted in a convenience store close to Brooklyn. The clerk described a tall young man with a golf club, a girl resembling Thalia, another unidentified young man said to be on crutches, and a very young girl with blonde hair reportedly carrying a large knife. Wait a minute, he saw that you had a knife? I guess he could see through the mist? There didn't happen to be like a goddess throwing muffins or like a burning rainbow there by any chance? Or just like a bunch of snakes for no reason? Not to memory? Okay, well, he could probably just see through the mist. How many deadly businesses are we gonna discuss? Never mind. Considering the odd hour of night and the battered and armed state of the group, the clerk filed a report with the police stating one used the name Annabeth. When shown a photo of missing person at the time, Annabeth Chase, the man identified the girl he saw as the same girl. Unfortunately, this sighting cannot be verified, considering there is no physical evidence. The outdated security cameras were malfunctioning the night in question, and Annabeth's name had been in the news just days prior. However, returning to the incident at Westover Hall, this sighting may have some credibility to it after all. If you will recall, Annabeth Chase in later years was sighted with Percy Jackson and student Grover Underwood, who was heavily speculated to be the aforementioned young man on crutches, at Westover Hall on the night of the D'Angelo's disappearance. If this convenience store sighting is true, it means that Annabeth Chase and Grover Underwood at the very least know Thalia Grace, and make the likelihood that our fourth unidentified student, who looks like Thalia Grace, most likely actually Thalia Grace, despite the age difference. Many chalk the difference up to low-quality security footage and teacher descriptions being inaccurate, saying that the girl could pass as 18 when given more context. Returning to our main subject, if this theory is true, then it links Jackson to our fourth missing person case. Thalia Grace, Dr. Thorne, and the two D'Angelos. A note for the readers, as we do not have an ID on the two missing children taken from the dance, they will be referred to by their stolen identities until we have an official ID. You ever stolen your own identity? Apparently so. Now, he actually shadow traveled here, correct? Yes. Cool, just wanted to make sure that everyone else can also see you. Is that a ghost joke? Depends on how upset you'd be if it was. It was a little funny. Not your best work, though. I'll take constructive criticism. I only give destructive criticism. Does Will know you've shadow traveled across the country? He is not in charge of me. And yes, what is happening? Plus, the Apollo cabin is making me watch all of the Star Wars movies, and that is so many hours of movies. So I figured I'd take a breather before I spend that much time cooped up with Kayla and Austin. Oh no! Have you ever heard Austin play Careless Whisper on the saxophone? I thought it was great the first time, but by the 18th time, I was about ready to send Jules Albert after him. And then I found out it was a meme, and I felt very silly. Who is Jules Albert? He's my zombie chauffeur? My dad gave him to me. I'm gonna need to think about that one. Despite all this, Percy Jackson, the two D'Angelos, and Dr. Thorne made a hasty exit from the grounds with Annabeth Chase, Grover Underwood, and Thalia Grace, allegedly, following after. The group disappeared into the woods and did not re-emerge. Westover Hall has continued to be investigated for how such a lack of oversight and campus security could have happened, but no other revelations have come about. Although it is frequently mentioned in theoretical discussions of time travel, with conspiracy theorists believing the D'Angelo's case to be one of the best supported instances of this actually occurring. This, however, is simply wild speculation and often leads down a rabbit hole that has done nothing but foul up the actual investigation. Westover Hall has even considered a full rebrand to distance the school from this story. They better name it after us. That seems counterproductive. What is that? Wouldn't you like to know? The souls of the innocent? It's coffee. Ooh, what do you call a ghost who gives you coffee? What? A barista. Ugh, bad.